Templarry RPG, the mission of the Divergents. The key to freedom. In a world where magic and war collide, the Divergents must find other young people with extraordinary abilities. But who are these new allies? Join us and discover the secrets surrounding the disappearance of the previous Divergents. Upon returning from church, Julierme looks for Joseph at the gym. And when she finds him, he tells her everything he discovered.
Guys, I need to tell you something very important. I heard that children are disappearing here in the village, and stealing blood too. You'll know what they are doing with these children and this blood. On top of that, I learned that there were young people who arrived before us, and it seems that they were kidnapped too. We have to do something. We have to see if we can rescue these young people.
I take a deep breath, feeling the weight of the uncertainties that surround me. Over the past few days, disturbing rumors have echoed in my mind. Young people like them, with special abilities, could have been kidnapped by a girl who shared their situation. At first, I was hesitant to believe it. It was an absurd, almost fanciful idea. But as the pieces of the puzzle came together, the doubt turned into a palpable sense of urgency. You need to go along with the other young people, my inner voice becoming stronger and stronger. The search for answers was not just a matter of finding the missing, it was a mission that resonated in my heart, like a call to action. I knew that, together, we could uncover the truth about the possible kidnapping and, who knows, even rescue the missing people.
I'm going to talk to a drunk.
While they are looking for a bar to talk to a drunk, a young, thin, blonde boy wakes up in a dungeon far away, not understanding anything about what was happening.
My heart is racing, and my senses are on edge. I am enveloped in a darkness that seems to swallow the light. Upon opening my eyes, the vision before me is of a strange, cold and damp cave. Dread takes over my body when I realize that I am surrounded by two immense creatures, with greenish skin and grotesque features that resemble ogres. His eyes, like evil lanterns, watch me with menacing curiosity, and the heavy air seems to vibrate with a presentiment of danger. In the midst of terror, a thought arises, Pacoca. I slip my hand into my pocket and feel the texture of the candy that brought back so many childhood memories. With a trembling voice, I decide to take a chance. If you let me out, I begin, this magical thing is all you need. It can give you incredible powers. Silence settles, and I see the monsters exchanging glances, as if considering the proposal. For a moment in my chest, a small ray of light in the midst of the darkness. I imagine the freedom, the fresh air on my face, and the life that awaits me outside. With every word, I try not only to negotiate my way out, but also to place value on that sweet treat that, in my mind, could be the key to survival. I take a deep breath, knowing that I am in a fight not just against the ogres, but against destiny itself.
Do you think we are so foolish as to believe that a simple piece of bread can give us power?
Could this be true? What if it made me more beautiful?
How can you be so foolish?
As the first ogre's cutting words resonate, the tension between the two escalates into a physical clash. The claws and fists move quickly, creating a spectacle of strength and fury. Gabriel, paralyzed by fear, watches the terrifying scene, not knowing whether to intervene or hide. The first ogre, in his unbridled fury, overpowers the second with a well-aimed blow, knocking him to the ground. With his spirits high, he turns to Gabriel, who, in a last act of desperation, tries to argue. But the ogre, overcome by anger, does not listen. "You tried to trick us," he growled, and before Gabriel could react, a powerful punch hits his face. The impact is brutal, the pain is instantaneous, and within seconds, Gabriel passes out, his vision fading as the world around him dissolves into darkness. At that moment, silence takes over the cave, and the first ogre, now victorious, observes Gabriel's unconscious body, his expression mixing triumph and a slight touch of regret. A battle that seemed to be about power and freedom turns into a cruel reminder that, even in the most desperate situations, violence can prevail over reason.
Are you going to give me some information or a sip of that drink?
What kind of information can inhabit this man's mind? Why are we here? What really matters in this world of illusions? What do you want to know, friend?
We are looking for different people, just like us, young people who may have been kidnapped.
Today's young people are different, so far from those I met in the sacred lands. They have vibrant dreams, but also an emptiness that seems to grow every day. The girl wasn't like the others. She wasn't afraid of being different. The girl kidnapped them not with force, but with the promise of an adventure, of a world where they would be free. And so they were taken away in an old wagon, made of worn wood and covered in wildflowers. The sound of creaking wheels echoed like a lullaby as they set off into the unknown. At that moment, I realized that freedom can be a trap. Their curiosity led them to a place where innocence was said goodbye and reality became a labyrinth.
But do you know where she went, which way they went with this cart? Thank you very much for the information. Don't drink too much.
When Gabriel finally manages to open his eyes, the darkness gives way to a mist of pulsing pain that invades his blooded face. He struggles to get up, feeling the weight of despair on his shoulders. The echoes of screams and roars of fighting ogres resonate around him, and despite the confusion, an audacious idea appears in his mind. If I can take advantage of this distraction, maybe I can escape. With renewed strength from adrenaline, he watches the ogres attack each other, their grotesque forms struggling like shadows in a nightmare. Gabriel knows this is his chance. He drags himself slowly, each movement a challenge to the pain that seems to want to dominate him. The ground, covered in mud and blood, becomes his ally, concealing his presence as he approaches the edge of the fray. But when he tries to get up and run, everything falls apart. One of the ogres, in a fit of rage, turns abruptly and sees him. The monster's piercing gaze is like a sharp blade, and before Gabriel can react, he is grabbed with brutal force. No! It can't end like this, screams his heart, as the ogre's fists come down on him, each blow a cruel reminder of his fragility. The pain is unbearable, and the world around you becomes a blur of blurred colors and distorted shapes. The hope that once pulsed in his chest gives way to despair, and even in the midst of darkness, he wonders if there is a way back. Before he loses consciousness again, a single idea resonates in his mind. The fight is not over. Life can still surprise. And, with that thought, he dives into the darkness, determined to find a light in the darkness.
I watched the young people gathered around me, their faces lit with expectation and uncertainty. I knew the journey ahead would be long and full of challenges, and in my heart I felt a deep pull to guide them. "You need to look for Natham," he said, his words full of urgency and care. "He is the best knight I have ever met, and his experience could be the key to your success." As I speak, I remember my own adventures playing like a movie in my mind. I remember sunny days, the smell of wet earth after rain and the sound of hooves hitting the ground. I know that for these young people, learning to ride is not just a skill, it is a rite of passage, a form of liberation. Natham can not only provide you with the best mounts, but also teach you the art of riding, the connection between man and animal that turns a simple journey into a dance. I watched the young people's eyes light up as they heard my advice, and it fills me with hope. Your journey will be long, but remember, each step along the way is a lesson, each mount an opportunity for growth. Trust Natham, embrace the challenge and discover the strength that exists within you. With an encouraging nod, I finish, feeling that by sharing my wisdom, I not only guide you, but also inspire you to become not just divergent, but true explorers of your own lives. Fate awaits them, and each of them is about to write a story that will resonate for generations.
Nathan, you here again. You can help us. We need to learn how to ride and fast. Young people were kidnapped. We have to help.
With a serious expression and steady eyes, I observe the young people who dream of going on a mission that, to me, seems absurd. That would be crazy, he said, his voice booming like thunder on a calm afternoon. You guys have barely started your training. The time it will take to learn how to ride a horse is much longer than you imagine. I remember my own difficulties, the falls and frustrations I faced when learning the art of riding. Every wound and every mistake was part of my journey, and I knew that experience is not acquired overnight. You don't have Templar armor yet. You're not ready for what's coming. I continued gesturing fervently. The image of a bloody battle appears in my mind, and I feel the weight of responsibility. How can they enter enemy territory without knowing how to maneuver on a horse? Inexperience can cost not only their lives but also the lives of others. I observe the determination on the faces of the young people, but I also notice the spark of recklessness. Learning to ride is not just a skill. It is a dance between man and animal, a connection that takes time and patience to form. I take a deep breath, willing them to understand the gravity of the situation. I know that courage is strong in you, but bravery without wisdom invites disaster. With a look of concern, I conclude, be cautious. The path of adventure is full of dangers, and true strength lies in knowing how to recognize your limits. Learn first, and then, when you are ready, the real journey can begin. I hope my words reach the hearts of each of them, because the most important battle they will face will be to prepare themselves for what is to come.
But what if by chance you were with us? It would be possible for you to accompany us on this adventure. We need to rescue the young people who were kidnapped as soon as possible.
I felt the weight of the decision in his heart. I knew that, even without preparation, the young people were determined to carry out a daring rescue, driven by courage and passion. Adrenaline was pumping through my veins, and the idea of letting them go alone seemed unthinkable. I remember my own adventures, the lessons learned in each stumble and victory, and I realized that, even in the face of the unknown, true bravery lies in being by the side of those we love. With a deep sigh, I realized there was no alternative. The choice to accompany them was a matter of love and loyalty. Fabinho said with an encouraging smile, "You are the first to choose your horse. Let's go together, as we always have." This phrase was not just an invitation, but a promise that no matter what happened, we would face the challenge together. As Fabinho approached the animals, I felt a wave of hope. I remembered the nights under the stars, the stories told around the campfire, and the strength we found in each other. It was a decisive moment, not only for the rescue, but for the friendship that united us. My heart was pounding, and I knew that together we could overcome any obstacle. The journey was about to begin, and the thrill of the unknown enveloped me, like a warm, comforting hug.
Fabinho approaches, excited.
Look at these horses lined up, each reflecting a unique personality in the light of the setting sun. The heat of the day seems to echo in my restless soul. I feel the vibrant energy pulsate within me. I want a fire horse, one that is as alive as me. This isn't just a mount choice, it is an affirmation of who I am. I remember times when my passion for life took me on daring adventures. I also remember running along the trails. I want a companion who reflects this vivacity, an indomitable spirit that drives me to explore new horizons. Look at that beautiful horse, his coat shining like dancing flames. I feel a connection with him. I see in your eyes the same determination and joy that I have. I think he was waiting for me, so that together we could embark on a journey of emotion and discovery. Together, we will be unstoppable. With this fiery horse by my side, I can face any challenge and live each day as if it were a new adventure. It's more than a choice, it's a call to the life I've always dreamed of.
Natham brought the horse in temporary armor, shining in the sun's rays, to protect Fabinho from the flames of the fire horse he had chosen. The expression of concern on his face was evident. Fabinho, you need to be very careful, he warned, his voice thick with apprehension. That horse is wild and can burn you. Fire burns, but courage is stronger. Fabinho felt the adrenaline rush through his body. He knew the challenge was great, but the determination in his heart was even greater. With his armor adjusted, he took a deep breath and approached the magnificent animal, which was neighing with an intense shine in its eyes. He climbed into the saddle, but on his first attempt the horse bolted with ferocious momentum, and Fabinho was thrown to the ground. Frustration almost overwhelmed him, but he wasn't the type to give up easily. Standing up, he shook the dust off his clothes and looked at Natham, who was encouraging him with an encouraging smile. "Come on, Fabinho, you can do it." Those words lit a fire inside him. With his heart pounding, he prepared for the second attempt. Once again, he got on his horse, but this time, with renewed focus and courage, he held on tight, feeling the animal's strength and fury upon him. Then something magical happened. Fabinho found his rhythm and, surprisingly, began galloping the horse, the wind in his face and adrenaline filling his soul. Natham watched in amazement as he saw Fabinho tame the fire, the connection between them strengthening with each pass. It was a moment of triumph, where courage overcame fear, and Fabinho became a legend on his own journey, defying the flames and conquering his destiny. Maria was immersed in intense training under the guidance of the Templar commander, her muscles straining with each movement, her mind focused and determined. Sweat ran down her face, but her passion for becoming a warrior kept her going. Meanwhile, in the soft morning light, only Julierme and Samuel remained, awaiting the opportunity to learn the art of riding. Julierme, Nathan's strategy apprentice, felt a mixture of anxiety and excitement. He watched Mary in awe, admiring her courage and resilience. Every sword strike, every perfect maneuver, was a reminder of what was at stake. He knew he needed to prepare, not just to ride, but to become a true protector of his people. The weight of responsibility was on his shoulders, but he was ready to face it. When Natham turned to Julierme, calling him to choose his mount, his heart skipped a beat. "It's your turn," said Natham, with a look that mixed firmness and encouragement. Julierme took a deep breath, feeling the anticipation in the air, the voices of her companions echoing in her mind, each word a motivation. At that point, it wasn't just about learning to ride. It was about becoming part of something bigger, about fighting for justice and protecting those you loved. Julierme was determined to honor Natham and Maria's legacy, and the journey was just beginning. With the wind in his face and courage in his heart, he rushed forward, ready to write his own story on the pages of bravery.
I want that horse over there. That's passing by in the distance. That's dragging those guys. That's the one I want.
You're crazy. This is the horse Bluestorm. He's called Bluestorm because he's the last thing you'll see if you try to ride him. Memories flooded my mind, memories of other young people who, like Julierme, had underestimated the power and ferocity of that untamed animal. I remember knights who lost confidence and even courage, victims of their own recklessness. Bluestorm's fierce gaze, the neighs that sounded like thunder, were warnings that could not be ignored. I can't let you get close to him under any circumstances. Tension hung in the air, a storm about to brew. I knew that as a mentor, my responsibility was to not only teach, but also to protect. I hoped Julierme would understand that true bravery lies in knowing when to fight and when to retreat. And there, standing before the towering Bluestorm, I was determined to do whatever was necessary to keep my apprentice safe, even if it meant facing the approaching storm itself.
Yes, it's the same one.
This animal is not just a challenge. He is a legend of tragedies. Everyone who tried to tame him, without exception, paid with their lives. Do you really want to risk all that? I cannot take responsibility for your death, Julierme. What you are about to do is not just a test of courage. but a test of foolishness. The horse is not just strong. He is cunning, and your life is in danger, game. Think carefully, young man. What is worth more? The glory of taming this beast or the value of your own life? This horse is not a simple challenge. He is a symbol of what happens when ambition surpasses reason. Choose wisely, Julierme. Sometimes you have to know when to step back to live and fight another day.
Exactly, this one.
Seeing the conviction in Julierme's eyes, Natham realizes that he couldn't discourage him and gives in. Julierme walked slowly towards Blue Storm, her eyes fixed on the horse's imposing figure. Each step was a mixture of anxiety and determination, and when the animal saw him, his reaction was immediate. With a burst of speed and ferocity, Blue Storm charged forward, as if wanting to test a young man's mettle. When they finally met face to face, Julierme knelt deeply, a gesture full of respect. He knew this moment was crucial. The horse, confused, tilted its head and sniffed the air, neighing as if trying to intimidate him. But Julierme, firm and serene, remained motionless, her heart pounding but her mind clear. Tension hung in the air, and, surprisingly, Blue Storm, in an unexpected act of recognition, lowered her head, signaling that she saw Julierme as an equal. It was an exchange of energies, a subtle connection that transcended words. With a focus that seemed almost supernatural, Julierme managed to saddle Blue Storm on the first try. The silence that followed was broken only by the gasps of astonishment from the spectators. Surprise and admiration mixed into one feeling, and the young man, now victorious, realized that he had gained not only the horse's respect, but also his own self-confidence. The journey that began with fear and uncertainty turned into a memorable triumph, a testament that sometimes respect and connection are the keys to taming even the fiercest storms.
I want that little donkey there. He looks friendly and able to keep up with my pace.
The looks of disdain and surprise from others were palpable, but Samuel was determined. He knew that true strength was not in appearance, but in the connection he could make. With a confident smile, Samuel approached the donkey, who looked at him with curiosity and a slight hint of distrust. The young man, noticing the animal's hesitation, decided to use a unique approach. Instead of forcing it, he took a handful of food from his bag, offering it gently.
Come on, friend, let's understand each other.
The donkey, attracted by the aroma of the food, hesitated for a moment, but soon approached, relaxing his posture. Samuel felt relief course through his body. He was succeeding. With patience and affection, he continued to offer small pieces, establishing a bond that few could imagine. Finally, the donkey allowed itself to be touched, and Samuel, with his heart racing with emotion, slowly climbed onto his mount. The moment was magical. The audience, who had previously laughed and criticized, now watched in silence, admiring the beauty of this unexpected connection. Samuel had proven that sometimes the simplest choices can lead to extraordinary achievements. He not only won the donkey, but also the respect of everyone around him, showing that true bravery lies in empathy and love for beings that are often ignored. The second part of the campaign is over, and I bet you won't want to miss the third part. But for that to happen, it's essential to stay tuned to the channel. Sign up and help in the fight against darkness on our side. Activate the bell so you don't miss any of our adventures. Like the video and show your support for our mission. Leave your comment and share your story with us. What would you do if you were in these young people's shoes? Share this content and help spread the truth about the Knights Templar around the world. And today's goal is when this video reaches 100 new subscribers or followers for our channel or account and 100 likes, we will post a new video the next day. So like and share a lot. We will have lots of news soon. I guarantee you will like it.